folks here. We're prepared to respond forcefully to further Russian aggression. But a diplomatic solution is still possible and preferable if Russia chooses it. We would far prefer a diplomatic path and a diplomatic solution to a crisis that Russia has brought forth. That's what next week's meetings of the U.S.-Russia Strategic Stability Dialogue, the NATO-Russia Council, and the OSCE are all about. And we believe that there are areas where we can make progress. Next week, we'll reconfirm our readiness to increase transparency, institute new risk reduction measures, and renew efforts to address nuclear and conventional threats to European security. But again, it has to be a two-way street. No one should be surprised if Russia instigates a provocation or incident, then tries to use it to justify military intervention, hoping that by the time the world realizes the ruse, it'll be too late. The idea that Ukraine is the aggressor in this situation is absurd. It's Russia that invaded Ukraine nearly 8 years ago. It's Russia that is the military occupier of part of Ukraine in Crimea. It's Russia that to this day is fueling a war in eastern Ukraine. It's Russia that has failed to implement any of its Minsk commitments, indeed is actively violating many of them, and refuses to acknowledge it's a party to the conflict. It's Russia that's taken aim repeatedly at Ukraine's democracy. And it's Russia that's sending troops to Ukraine's border once again. Russia is now demanding that both the United States and NATO sign treaties to withdraw NATO forces stationed in the territory of allies in Central and Eastern Europe and to prohibit Ukraine from ever joining NATO. They want to draw us into a debate about NATO rather than focus on the matter at hand, which is their aggression toward Ukraine. We won't be diverted from that issue because what's happening in Ukraine is not only about Ukraine. It's part of a broader pattern of destabilizing, dangerous, and often illegal behavior by Moscow as it tries to build a sphere of influence that covers the countries that were once under Soviet dominion and to stop them from realizing their democratic aspirations as fully sovereign, independent nations.
Is there a concern that the talks next week are Russia's building up of a pretext for, if and when they fail, using them as justification to go ahead and invade?
I think that's certainly part of the playbook.